Good morning. Every day when I wake up to the time I go to bed, and excuse my expression, but this bullshit that you hear on Morning Joe, CNN, Fox News, NBC, CBS, all you trolls trying to scam and con the American people and believing your election or elections, regardless what year it is about the American people. In all intents and purposes, is a crock of shit. You scare people into voting. You tell them about high crime that doesn't exist. You tell them that the country is getting worse. You scare them in security to hide in their homes. Streets aren't safe. You tell them that the police are overrun by criminals. The court system just doesn't care and let criminals out on the street. You perpetuate endless lies like you've done for decades and centuries. But yet and still, you don't see the world as average Americans do. And I'm one of those Americans. And to give you facts, not political bullshit out of Washington that you keep writing that same old book, turning those same old pages of Republican and Democratic bullshit. And neither one of you give two shits about the American people. Because if you did, we'd see significant change in this country. We would see significant change socially as well as politically. We'd see growth. We'd see actual progression from one generation to the next, from one year to the next, but we don't. We constantly spin that narrative. You constantly stay on that political autocracy, fascist, capitalistic merry-go-round of promising the American people the moon and delivering shit. Now, it pisses me off because I'm 72 and I'm a heart patient. I had a heart attack earlier this year. And the company that I work for, which is AutoZone, and I'm not afraid to say it, you can give two shits about me. Although I worked through the pandemic, I was what they call a essential worker at 72, pushing 12, 13 hours a day. This company made 40% profit uptick. And then did I see any of it? Hell no. And they send you to these bullshit meetings and you cheer and you chant like a bunch of dumbass cults. And I sit there and I look. And they come over to where I'm sitting and ask me, how come you're not cheering? So this ain't a football game. I ain't your cheerleader. I'm here to learn more about the company. I am not your cheerleader. That's just one example. And the other example is you work all your life. The laws in this country when it comes to disability or workers' compensation, and I've been through all of it because when I got hurt back in 2009, my job when I worked for Target, same thing. You're locked up in court and doing the exact same thing Trump is, locking the system up in court. And it's a waiting process. And naturally, an average citizen can't wait that long because you're affected financially. $1 billion corporations or multi-billion-dollar asshole like Trump can wrap the court up, and that lasts for years and years and years. But they say nobody is above the law. So you actually want to talk about issues in the upcoming 20 and 22 elections? Talk about real issues. Talk about what bothers real people in their neighborhoods, in their homes. Talk about that when we go to, and not as an elderly person, and you're just living on Social Security, nothing else. Because I got knocked out of work because of a heart attack, working for a greedy ass corporation that doesn't even care about me enough to give me disability. When you visit that market, Mr. Politician, Mrs. Politician, saying that you give a shit about the American people, which you don't, and which I want all of you to see this video on YouTube and experience the truth, not a bunch of political autocracy bullshit, lies and cons and scams that you put on the American people for decades and centuries. You go to the market, usually it costs you $100. Now it costs you $200. You can't afford to buy chicken. You can't afford to buy seafood. You can't afford to buy the basics to put in your refrigerator. But yet and still, you want to tell people that we're not in a recession. You have barges and barges and barges full of goods sitting on the water, waiting to get offloaded. But you tell the American people there's not a recession. You're paying double when you go to the food market. High prices as far as gas, healthcare, childcare, all the things that affect the American people. And don't even talk about the elderly and how the elderly suffer. You can't even afford to buy your meds. And you damn sure can't afford your health insurance premiums. And if I didn't have Medicaid, I couldn't afford mine. Because your Social Security goes to rent. Do the math. And just in my case, I get $1,272 a month. And the average rent here in Colorado is $1,300. Do the math. My Social Security, if I was by myself and not sharing rent, your average rent is $1,300 a month. I make $1,272. Where's the other money coming from? And that's just rent. That's not utilities. That's not food. And this is American people. This is what these autocracy, fascist, capitalist, political assholes don't show you when they're campaigning for office. They don't talk about that. They don't show you the facts. That 56% of American people live paycheck to paycheck. Facts. That the disparity between the rich and the poor and the working class is higher than it ever been in history. This whole onslaught of COVID-19 that you sit there and blame everything for, the creation of your COVID-19. How is it that your multi-billion-dollar corporations made profit, received COVID-19 stimulus, while people like me, like right now, I haven't even received my 2020 state tax refund, and I had to fight to get my federal, and I just got that at the beginning of this year, 2020. So we're talking facts. We're not talking political bullshit that you see on TV. Facts, but what people go through. That when I walk out my door and I go to my grocery market or I go to the gas station, this is what affects me. Not some political autocratic asshole behind a rostrum telling you what they're going to do or acting like they care. That's fact, because they don't care. Because we live in apartments or trailer parks or ghettos or out in the country. They live in $1.2 million homes, gated communities. This is what they go to every day. And where do we go? And pretty much we pay their mortgages and we pay their rent, taxpayers, and they're supposed to represent us. Bullshit. This is the stupidity that is the outline of America. The reason why right now we're in a political shithole, because you don't think, you just react. They tell you high crime, and I'm looking at Morning Joe, and they're talking about crime is an issue. Crime's not an issue. If you had cops not killing people, shooting people 60 times, grabbing people out of the car and beating them to death. See, there's two perspectives of crime in this country. There's your political organized crime, like Donald Trump. There's your Wells Fargo crime, that banks get away from stealing people, making up fictitious accounts, making $78 billion in 2021. That is the real problem. Do they go to court? Do they go to jail? Yeah, you'll sit there and talk about, oh, no bail for misdemeanor crimes. Bullshit. There should be bail for misdemeanor crimes. When people like Trump and his cronies don't have to pay bail, they don't only have to adhere to subpoenas. But you want to talk about law. You want to talk about law that you allow white supremacy, racist, bigoted, inbred assholes to attack the Capitol. And you blow this off like it's nothing. Like this is something that occurs every day. And dumbass taxpayers just go along with it because they tell you it's fake news. Or they tell you that, oh, they making a big issue about it when it's not. Dumbasses, they attack the Capitol of your governing body. They're ready to hang people. They're ready to kill people. They shit and pissed all over the Capitol. But that's not an issue. But you have some xenophobic, misogynist, sociopath, mental case, 72-year-old McDonald eating asshole, sexual pervert telling you it's fake news. A criminal since 1987 when he sold his soul to the Russian mafia in Moscow. But this is the stuff that you don't hear in the news. They try to scare you in thinking that, hey, yeah, we got a crime problem. Yeah, you have a crime problem. Washington political criminals. That's the crime problem we have. I in my neighborhood, I don't face crime. Ain't nobody getting shot around my neighborhood. So this false pretense bullshit that you're scaring people into voting and telling them that, oh, we got a crime problem. You say that shit every year. The point of it is, you assholes don't solve it. If crime is a problem every election year, what the fuck do you do to change it? What do you change to change the narrative? That is not a crime problem. But you got a Supreme Court that took away a woman's rights to her own body. Just like you had a Supreme Court back in the day that said that slaves and black people could never become citizens of the United States. See, these are things that you average political monkeys who just sit there on your iPhones and sit there on your iPads every day. You don't see the reality because the reality to you is that iPhone or that iPad or that PlayStation or Xbox. That's your reality. And you have a bunch of political mainstream monkeys on TV that just sit there every day, replay the same old bullshit. And you sit there like mindless idiots, just looking at that idiot too and believing the bullshit they tell you is true. You're not informed. Because if you were informed, you would know that the decades and centuries this political body's been in existence. Where is the change? They're taking away your civil rights. They're taking away your constitutional rights. Police are turning into a police state that they can go out there and randomly and kill people and not be held accountable. Shoot people, drag people out of their cars. But you say there's a problem. You'll talk about two cops going to a place and getting shot to death in New York. But you don't say about the same police departments that are drug lords and white supremacist, racist, bigoted assholes that go to black neighborhood, Spanish neighborhood, Asian neighborhood, and shoot up people. Stop and frisk. See, that's what I'm talking about. Whose perspective of the lens of reality are you looking through? A politician who his job is supposed to represent you, but he doesn't. He represents the monopoly of ultra wealthy assholes who are making billions of dollars and ripping off people like Wells Fargo, like Donald Trump, like the Republican Party. And then you have some monkey, and excuse my expression, like Walker, who's a Republican, a black man who went through the black experience in America, and you're still a houseboy, Uncle Tom Negro, in Mazda's plantation and doing whatever Mazda wants you to do. See, that's a perspective we never look at. And I have no respect for black men, any black Republican, because you believe they're the party of Lincoln. They're not. They're the party of white supremacy, racist, bigoted, militia, insurrectionists, seditious assholes. That's the Republican Party. And the Democratic Party is a bunch of spineless, masochists, delusional assholes who don't have a clue of the needs of the people. And that's both sides. Because just like a book that you've read 11 times, you open the same book, you read the same pages, and nothing changes. But you'll run to the polls and you'll vote for the same assholes. If you were educated, you had any inclination of education, any inclination of reality and facts that we face every day, you would know that it's bullshit. And these crusty asshole politicians in Washington, D.C., rather than vote them out, you just replace them with the same old crusty ass fascist, capitalistic, all about me, make the rich rich and keep the poor poor assholes, lobbyists, lawmakers, legislators, a good for nothing Congress and Senate, because you'll sit there just like with this whole Trump bullshit, Trump committee. You're not a committee. You're a fucking waste of time. If I went out there and committed the crimes that Trump did, my black ass would be in prison like any other person. No one's above the law. Liberty and justice for all. Bullshit. If he was a regular man that did this shit, who attacked the Capitol, he'd be in prison already. And executive privilege bullshit. It's bullshit. Executive privilege is one thing. You hide the crimes of political criminals that you hide behind. And you have your $1 million an hour lawyers to keep everything locked up in court. Rule of law. You don't know what the fuck it is. And you never knew what it was. From the foundations of this country. You abused it. You used it. You corrupted it. You perverted it. Just like right now. You use it to keep people dumbed down and stupid and a bunch of obedient, naive, gullible idiots who run to the polls every election year and repeat the same old stupid bullshit. The definition of insanity. You do the same old shit over and over and repeat the same old stupidity and ignorance and inept, mindless morons. And you expect different results. Because you don't learn. You're not educated. You're not even educating your own kids. You scream and you holler about 19 kids getting slaughtered and massacred, bodies spread it all over a classroom, and a bunch of mindless, inbred redneck idiots outside won't even go in and save innocent children. Why? Because they're Mexican and not white? Black people in a grocery store being shot. Same thing. Hurricanes. Louisiana, dead bodies floating on the fucking water. Did you do anything about it? Bush? Trump? But the latest storm, you busting your ass to save white people in Florida while your inbred redneck governor, Trump pansy, when you go and vote in 2022, look where you're at. Look where your civil rights are. Look where your constitutional rights are. It's not a crime epidemic. Your criminals are your police and your politicians. That's the real crime issue that we're facing right now. There's no boogeyman out there, America. Nobody's trying to break into your house. But they're out there trying to take away your rights to your body, the right who you marry. Black men, you can't marry a white woman. Next thing, they're going to take away your privilege to vote. They're going to take away your liberties, take away your civil rights, as they're doing right now. Because when you go to court, 14th Amendment, First Amendment, they abuse it every single freaking day. These are the issues you have to vote on. Not some bullshit fear mongering by a bunch of inbred redneck white supremacy assholes or a bunch of Democratic pussies. I watch Bill Maher, and he's another one. He sits there and thinking that he's the God gift to the political world. But he's a pothead, self-induced moron. He makes some good points, don't get me wrong. But it's a show. Just like Washington, D.C. It's like here in Colorado. A state that is operated by white supremacy, racist, bigot, insurrectionists, militia, inbred morons. And they won't tell you the truth. Never tell you the truth. They elude the truth. And people like me who step up and tell them to their face, you're a bunch of racist bigots, they dismiss you. Just like Washington does. A state that is operated by white supremacy, racist, bigoted, terrorist inbreds is not a state of a free world, of a country that says that we have equality, freedoms, constitutional rights, civil rights. Bullshit. In a state that is operated by white supremacy that hates black people, Asians, Mexicans, indigenous people, black people, Catholics, Jewish people, gay people. But it exists. That's my point. And just because you took your robes off and your hooded sheets, and now you're Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, QAnon, is there a difference in the racist bigotry? Fucking morons. That's the point. You want to vote? Vote on this shit. You want to change America? Change the poison that is operating it. You want to make America great again? Get rid of the criminals like Trump and the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Until the head of the snake that's killing this country is cut off, we're facing the same degradation, perversion, immoral, unethical, criminal, political bullshit for the next century. And if we don't have the guts, the backbone, the heart, the integrity, the morals to go and change it, your voting doesn't mean shit because you're voting the same. It's like throwing your trash out the door and it comes right back into your house. Same thing. You're not getting rid of the trash. You're just recycling it. And that's what you do every year. Because if we were an educated, moral, ethical country, Trump would not even exist. A Republican Party, the way it is right now, would not exist. And don't even talk about Party of Lincoln. Lincoln was a fucking hypocrite. And he wasn't no father to slaves. Neither was George Jefferson or George Washington. Not George Jefferson, but Jefferson and President. Adams, all of them. No, guaranteed there are people in that political time that cared about American people. But the greater percentage are a bunch of fascist capitalistic assholes as they are today. And we don't see it because we don't want to see it. We don't want to hear the truth because the truth makes you think that the truth actually scares you into acting and being real Americans, being real patriots, not a bunch of mindless idiots. One flew over the cuckoo's nest like Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Like the idiot right now being sued for billions of dollars. Alex, whatever his name is. Roger Stone. But you call black people criminals. That is, I don't know. I don't get it. And I could make videos all day long and tell you the reality in America, but you people, that is the American dream because you people are sleeping and you're dreaming. You never woke up for decades and centuries. Just like here in Colorado, you monkeys had never woke up. Well, white supremacy ain't here no more. we don't see no hooded cheats. No, because they're not wearing hooded sheets. They're wearing regular clothes just like you. America, it's time to get educated. It's time that you stop looking through those rose tinted glasses. It's time you turn those idiot boxes off and start reading and actually start researching. Go back to the library again. Start going back to the library again and reading. And put your iPads and your iPhones down and actually become educated people once again, not a bunch of mindless idiots being sucked up by the cesspool of criminal political bullshit in Washington. Are there good people in Washington? Yeah, there is. Don't get me wrong. Congressman Negussi, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. Good people. But you have that element. And you people knew this shit for decades and centuries. You got that element that just are puppets for ultra wealthy America. And actually, these are the people who operate this country. They have you believe in some old 72, 70 some odd year old man like Biden operates things. Bullshit, dude. Biden don't operate shit. The hidden government. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist all day long. I don't give a shit. It's the government behind the government that you people don't realize what's going on. And you never will, because you just think that you wave that flag and saying God bless America and that shit that they train you and indoctrinated your dumbasses in believing that the greatest country in the world. Nah, it ain't. Red, white, and blue, national anthem. And if you don't salute the flag, you're a traitor. Really? You know what a traitor is? Trump and his redneck white supremacy inbred idiots. That's traitors. Not because you don't salute the Pledge of Allegiance. And the same Congress that took away women's rights were the same Congress that took away the rights of black people, Mexican people, indigenous people. You don't hear this on the news. You hear that same old bullshit they want you to hear. Oh, the economy is the issue. No, it ain't, bitch. You know what the main issue is right now? Abortion. And the same people who won the election, winning voters, are going to win the election this time. And as much as you try to create that illusion that abortion is an issue, that's the propaganda bullshit they want you to hear. But the issue is abortion, and they know it. Republican Party knows it. They know they lost as soon as Congress took away a woman's right to her body. They knew the election was shot. So now they're jumping on that bandwagon of the economy, the same old bullshit they used for decades and centuries. Crime, fear factor, all that fear mongering bullshit like Trump tried to do. Oh, it's the Mexicans come over here, the criminals. The criminals ain't coming over here, bitch. The criminals are already here. That's what you assholes just like you'll never get that. You'll never get it. The criminals are already here. Like the criminals that stole this country. That were sent over here from Scotland and Australia and England. Massacred and slaughtered. Just like Tulsa, Oklahoma, inbred redneck assholes who slaughtered and bombed and massacred black people. The criminals are already here. They're not being sent over here from Mexico or Haiti or any other country. It's already here. When you people think, and you very seldom do, because you fall into that rut, that cesspool sewer that they placed you in since the foundation of this country, and you never got out of it. That quicksand of a net ignorant, asinine bullshit. You stayed in it. You never crawled out of it. And when you try to crawl out of it, they sell you more bullshit and you sink right back in. (2022), the year of change. If not, you'll sink in this corrupted, illegal, criminal, Democrat and Republican bullshit. And you'll never see daylight of intelligence or a true America again. I'm out of here.